Hey, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another reading. This one is going to be about change. It's a change coming into your life. Probably kind of a quick reading, I think, because I'm still losing my voice. So it might be quite funny when I'm uploading these because there's going to be some readings where my voice is like returned to normal and then somewhere I sound like a mess. Anyways, part one, part two, part three. Start with part number ones. Okay, so change in your life, part number one. Just sitting on the energy. Let me know if I'm in camera. Just shout at me. I can hear you. I said we can't see your drawing. But yeah, you can. Do you mean part ones? Okay. Yeah, I like that. Very diagrammatic today. What do you see? What do you feel? I've done a reading kind of recently to this one, I think, where it was one of my favourite readings ever of all time. I can't remember what it was called. But it's like Spirit wants to give me that again in terms of stages. I feel like the change in your life is to do with a stage. So whenever I get these clues of three, 1, 2, 3. Actually, I think part one's your reading was your pile was actually got 3 on it. So I'm not sure if that's coincidence. Well, no such thing as coincidence, but I'm not sure if that is just divine beauty in action. Because your symbol might not have been 3, I'm not sure. But double check that. Go back to your pile. I think it had 3 on it. What I've come to realise from that past reading with the 3s is usually it's representing. So this reading's about change, right? But this is going to represent continuing change. It's almost showing you the cycle of life in a way. It's like we know that the baby turns into the child, turns into the adult, turns into the elderly, if you like. You can add 4 to that. But I think it's even, was it the maiden, mother and crone, it's of 3. And then it repeats again. You have that child and it repeats. There's something here to do with a change that you've got to become familiar with, which is, it's a bizarre analogy that I'm about to give you, bizarre metaphor. But I was actually almost getting, so you could relate this to a grid. You could almost relate this to like the architecting of something. But to keep it very simple, I'm going to call it the fabric. Oof. See, even in architecture, we use that, the fabric of a building. Man, these readings are so dope sometimes. So, I even get shocked by some of these readings. Okay, so we start off with the fabric, but I want you to imagine like the textile, and I want you to go even further than that. I want you to imagine like the cloth the cloth to wipe up something that is wet. The puddle, the mess. So your change is that you're coming to understand this process of, first we create the fabric, the cloth, then we tidy up the mess, and then we are left with almost the light. So this kind of, to me, represents sometimes in my drawings and readings, it's like the soul, the light, possibly even the sun. And that almost represents to me is like, it's like you're preparing the material that is going to help you clean up the mess. And then through that, we are in happiness, we're in bliss. And then again, we repeat the cycle. We prepare the fabric again. We prepare the cloth that's going to clean up the mess. We use the fabric to absorb the mess, and then we get bliss. So part number 1 is like, man, I'm falling in love with these readings and how they come out with this kind of 3 energy. Because I don't know if you can relate to this pile number 1s, but in my life, I wish that I had, you could say a mentor. I've always had my father in my life, so I can't give that sob story. But my dad is a man of few words in many ways. I guess I can respect him because he does show what he thinks with his actions. But one thing that I wish, and this, I'm not sure if this applies to my feminines watching so much, but 100% if you're a masculine watching this, is that one of the keys of life and growing up and becoming a man is that you accept that there's always this process. And I wish that I had in my life someone who just told me that, no, this is how it actually is meant to be. You're always meant to be cleaning up. Cleaning up the shit. Always shoveling the shit. Shoveling the coal. Digging the hole. Filling the hole. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, I wish someone had said that to me, because that way I wouldn't have been disappointed every time I got to this bliss point that I had to go back and build my fabric. I wish I had someone in my life that said, no. That's good, that's okay. You're meant to go back and build the fabric. You're meant to be inspired by this mess that is created. That's good. This is good. This is just as good as the blissful feeling at the end. But I guess in the society that we live in, they have programmed us just beautifully. You've got to give them credit. Like, this system that we're in has just, talk about chickens in a cage. Like, you've got to give them some credit for how beautifully they fucked us up. But they have kind of completely given us the force feeding of this, knowing full well that you can only get this through these 2 things. But if you keep someone just focused on that, you've got them perfectly trapped. Because everything that is not that makes them believe that they're basically in a constant state of fight or flight. Something's wrong. If you're always in an energy of something's wrong, just got some confirmation there. And trust me, that is confirmation. If you're in a constant state of something's wrong because we're not in this, you're in a constant state of fear and stress. And when you're in a constant state of fear and stress, you're easy to manipulate. And more so, you give the opportunity for other people to create the fabric and clean the mess, while everyone else is just running around like the headless chicken trying to search for this blissful happiness 100% of the time. So, like, Spirit's just giving me this message here of like, even the Buddha at the top of the mountain has some sense of, although they find bliss in everything they do, the ones who have mastered that, obviously, even the monk at the top of the mountain has understood that there comes obstacles in life. Even if the life that they live seems somewhat blissful all the time, health, ironically, as I'm coughing my lungs out, that's my lemon and honey. Health comes and slaps you around the face. Health might be that bloody mess. You have to come up with some form of fabric, some form of herbs, some form of healing to create back to that blissful state. The tide always comes in and always comes out. The sun always sets and always rises. There will always be that. And like I said, I just, for anyone who's out there listening, if you're a feminine who relates to that energy, or if you're a masculine watching this, that will do you a lot of good coming to accepting that. And for my feminines who don't understand that or don't relate to that idea so much, there's a part of me which thinks that you're built differently as a feminine, and to find the masculine who understands that process better will be your balance, So, I also just got here for the feminines listening. You might need to hear this. Please don't be triggered by it. But I'm getting the urge, maybe it's the wrong word, but I'm getting drawn to say that if you do have a masculine in your life, allow the masculine to do this for you. Society is actually at the moment trying to put us all into the same category, and although at least as genders we are similar, we are also different, and it would be to your advantage sometimes to allow the masculine to take this pressure in order for you to feed him with that happiness that you get from it. Again, shoot the messenger if you must, but I just felt drawn to say that, so I'm saying it to you, pile number ones. If you enjoyed the reading, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Check out If You Pause website. Like I always say, if you haven't checked it out already, you out your damn mind, because there's some amazing content on there. I'm getting drawn to recommend pile ones. Gosh, I can't even remember what I called the damn video. But there's a video on like opening the door. Obviously, if you're feeling drawn to that, check out on the If You Pause website, something about activating the door or something like that. I think that might be useful for you. Like, that's just intuitively drawn to tell that to you. Check that one out. And yeah, as always, thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Okay, pile number 2s. What we got for you? I've got like cheeky monkey come through. Cheeky monkey. Interesting. got stuff to do tomorrow. I hope this bloody sore throat clears up. You know, when you got stuff to do, it's like, I ain't got time for this. I need to be at full health. What's going on? This wasn't in the contract. Lord. This wasn't in the contract, Lord. You know, when you're telling God, like, I said I'd be in service, but like, this wasn't even in the small print. Excuse the beautiful Arabs making noise outside today. You might be Arabic, Paltus. Are you Arabics? Arabic? Give me a WhatsApp if you're Arabic out there. I've been drawn to your culture more recently. Like Middle Eastern. I feel like in the West we're not really educated much about the Middle East. Africa, due to slavery, we know. I guess China, just because it's somewhat of the next powerhouse. Middle East. I guess as one gets older, we hear more about like places like Dubai and stuff, but as a youngster, at least for me, it might be different now. As a youngster, we don't hear much about that culture, the Arab culture. I guess Muslims as a whole were kind of demonized when I was growing up. I'm not sure about you, Paltus. There's clearly something here for you though, like in terms of this culture. We've got something beautiful going on here. Paltus. Quite a lot of logic coming through. Are you strategizing something at the moment? Pause this video afterwards and see if you see anything coded here, because this is not random, although it might seem so. It's almost giving me vibes of the golden section, golden ratio. Not really taught it in architecture school, but I had a mentor in London who kind of was very interested in it, in the practice that I was working in, so I learned a little bit about it there. It reminds me of that. So in architecture we use this, basically just talking about the ratios of, you could say, ratios that work. There's something going on here. I think this reading was about change. Are you moving as well? Like, cause I'm getting the image here of it, you know, like even in Photoshop, like if you was to drag and drop something, drag and drop. So why is that to do, are you moving to the Middle East? This is very specific. So part two is like this, maybe just talking to one or two of you out there, which is gonna be like, you're gonna be listening to this like, damn, this is weird. This is exactly my life right now. And then some of you, the message is more that you're moving. It might not be anything to do with like the Arab culture. But you're moving somewhere. And like I said, there's something to do really with like, you could possibly even be architects yourself or have kind of an architect's mindset. To give you some key words, like I would consider architects as problem solvers. Architects are usually quite good at, similar to these readings, in my opinion, good architects are able to distill the abstract into something logical and working. The artist usually has the blessing of expressing themselves fully without any barriers, whereas architecture has many, 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 many barriers, including those where you're putting people's health and safety at risk. So you have to be very aware of barriers and responsibility and accountability for your abstract thoughts. So part two, you might relate to this. You might not be an architect, but you might have almost like that. Architects are a little bit like artists and engineers pulled together. In the UK, we've got a whole part on being like just contract management and professionalism. So you could even put like part-time lawyer in there, an accountant if you've got your own business, jack of all trades. I was about to start insulting architects there, but I saved myself. Even in the sense, this reminds me of like the Windows sign. Windows, Microsoft. And then that Windows obviously kind of links back to a window, a physical window. It's kind of coming back to architecture as well. Looking out the window and making a move. I feel pile number two's, I think this reading was about change. I can't remember, but the change seems to be, it's almost like I'm getting a picture of you, your soul, looking out the window and going, I'm gonna fucking move. It's like, that's what I'm getting. I think one of the key words for you there is like Middle East. Might be a place that you'll move to, or like gives you inspiration to move, possibly. Maybe it's a Middle Eastern person, a mentor, a friend. But yeah, I feel like that's your message, pal, too. So I hope that was helpful. I do feel like there's a lot more to code in this. Like, I feel like this diagram could really lead you on to understanding something more. Could be to do with your career. There's something in here which, if you dissect, it's a little bit of a helpful tool for you. It could be also with like, could be to do with like, it's giving me a vibe also of having a little bit of like an anchor point. So being able to move, but then come back to that central point, and the idea of kind of recentering. So exploring, then recentering, exploring, then recentering. You could also relate this to like home. So you pivot away from home, but then you have that anchor point that you can come back to. And that might be metaphorically yourself. There's that famous saying of home is where the heart is. It could relate quite easily to that. So pile number 2's, if that was helpful, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com. Great way to support what I do over here. For now, it was a pleasure doing your reading today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care. Okay, pile number 3 is, you got the pleasure of the church bells today. Your change may involve some form of eureka moment. And I'm kind of getting eureka vibes, to be honest. But let's see what Spirit's got for you. What do you see? What do you feel? Pile number 3's. What do you see? What do you feel? Apart from my croaky voice. So I'm shaking up the whole table doing this too. Are you shaking things up? Could possibly be shaking things up. Just a quick thank you as well, pile 3's, because there's been a few people supporting more and more of what I'm doing here. Dare I say, I feel like people are starting to believe in what I'm doing. I don't know why it took you motherfuckers so long. I thought this shit was dope from the start, but some of you are starting to catch the wave. Maybe some of these readings are just resonating so hard that you're feeling more encouraged to reach out. Let's just check that you're in. Check that you're in. Focus. Just gonna continue this a little bit more. So yeah, just a quick thank you. You know who you are out there. Who are purchasing the videos or even just showing some love in a message or a comment. I've just seen a rise in that, so thank you. So again, what do you see? What do you feel? Pile number 3's. There's a sense here of, like I said, shaking things up. And then there's a sense here of almost, because in that shaking up energy, even the way that some of these strokes are coming out, very different energy from pile number 1 and 2. Ones and twos. There might be something in that. There's something kind of something kind of random in the strokes. It reminds me of someone, like if they were dancing, like you don't know what direction they're going. To be honest, almost a little bit like, when someone body pops. So like you kind of know that they're gonna pop, but you don't know which way. You don't know if the leg's gonna pop, if the shoulders pop in, but it kind of flows together, right? It's giving me that energy, popping, body popping, and then kind of just to bring it like into the literal. Part number 3 is again energy here of like fireworks. Could be some form of celebration too, and also kind of like I think it's called a dandelion, the plant that you blow, and the seeds just fly off into the wind. Both of those examples kind of do actually represent something which is quite random, because the fireworks, for example, if I was to ask you, pile number threes, I'm going to set off some fireworks and I want you to tell me exactly what position the firework is going to explode. If you're not insane, you're probably going to be like, how the fuck am I going to guess that? Yeah, it's random. We know that it's going to explode in the sky, but we don't know exactly where it's going to explode. And it's the same for the dandelion. The moment that we blow that dandelion, if I was to tell you where is each one of these seeds going to land, again, if you're not insane, you're probably going to say, I've got no bloody idea, Zed. And this is your reading. Those two energies, that's the energy that was coming through. Again, very different to pile ones and twos. But that's maybe to do with the change that you're embracing. There's something that you're coming into, which is like, I don't want to say it's out of your hands, because the fireworks, you consciously light the firework. The dandelion, you consciously pluck the dandelion. It's just the result of it. We're not 100% on where it lands. We're 100% on what to expect. That there will be this random event that takes place as soon as we light that firework, as soon as we blow that dandelion. But we're not exact on the location. You know, I'm almost getting here as well, pile number threes. You might be YouTubers as well. And it kind of gives me the vibe of, with these readings, you don't really know who's watching. You don't know who it's going to resonate with. It's a similar feeling to that. It's like, you know that there's going to be people watching. You don't really know how many people are going to be watching, and you don't know who is going to be watching. And this always shocked me with my Instagram as well, as an architect. I'm not really as big, funnily enough, on Instagram and stuff like that anymore. I just found it a little bit of a waste of time with my architecture stuff. I'm kind of at a point where I found the clients that I need to find, and my value is much more valuable with those clients opposed to getting likes on social media. Whereas with If You Pause, it actually kind of makes sense to kind of get the word out there for the channel. But my point is back with that larger, more established business, I used to always get shocked about who it used to attract. And I used to always get shocked about like what creations of mine used to actually resonate with people. For example, if you've been here for a while watching these videos, you might hear me blow my own trumpet sometimes, like, oh man, this is beautiful. I'll draw something and it's beautiful. And you might look at it and go, that didn't touch me in the same way. And that moment is very important. It's very interesting, at least, when, for example, I can find something really, really beautiful and amazing, and someone else could find beauty in something that I don't see as amazing or don't see as appealing. And, you know, that's kind of your message, pile number threes, is that there's a certain randomness which is beautiful, and we have control of it to an extent, but really how that flourishes, how that seeds, how that is impacted is really, you could say random, but also just to God, you know. We leave that part to God. and there's something in that you're embracing. But I do feel like it's something positive. I feel like it would be the equivalent of, I remember when like I said on my architect page, I remember when I had a few, like, what I deem celebrities acknowledging what I was doing, and it was like, wow, I didn't see that coming. You know, I didn't think that person would fuck with me, but they did. I think that's kind of interesting. It's like, yeah, like I'm not even gonna drop any names, but just wouldn't expect that person to fuck with what you're doing, and they did. This is the energy for you pal threes. So if you enjoyed the reading, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Check out If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com. Keep doing your amazing stuff, pal free, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.